Hello and welcome to our next episode of CatSci Podcast. Have you ever wondered what your cat is thinking or how they feel inside? Have you ever tried deciphering your cat's body language to determine if they are sick or in pain? Researchers have developed ways to measure pain in non-human animals through the development of what's known as grimace scales. The feline grimace scale specifically looks at several aspects of a cat's facial expressions. This includes how tense the cat holds their muzzle, their head positioning, their whisker placement, or their ear positioning. And the scale has been shown to be a valid and reliable method of assessing pain in cats. Our guests today have designed an app that actually utilizes the feline grimace scale and combines this with a machine learning model to pick up on cat facial cues from photos. This app can be used by both cat owners and veterinary offices and can be used to help predict if a cat is ill or in pain. Stick around as we talk with the team from Sylvester.ai and learn more about how we can use technology in order to promote cat welfare and strengthen the cat-human relationship.
Welcome to CatSci Podcast. Miche, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having us. My name is Miche Priest, and I'm the venture lead for Sylvester.ai. Basically, I lead the product direction, and we are hoping to build a suite of products based on artificial intelligence for animals. And our first product is Tably, which focuses on cats.
Perfect. All right. And Sajna, let's have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Sajna. I work alongside Miche at Sylvester.ai. I work on the business development side. So I work with vets and cat owners to, communicate why our product Tably is improving cat health outcomes.
So what started you guys on this venture? How did this all come about?
Yeah, so Sylvester.ai is a joint venture between AltaML, which is a machine learning based company, and Cat Healthy. And Cat Healthy is a nonprofit that has been around for about 8 years, and they've helped develop vet protocols and have cat communities and are really engaged in promoting cat health. And the founder, or one of the, directors of Cat Healthy, wondered, could machine learning be used to help cats? And so that's when the two came together, and then developed a machine learning model that could detect, based on the feline grimace scale, if a cat is happy or not. And then I was brought in to turn it into a product that can be accessible by the masses.
Sure, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit more about how the cat grimace scale works and how that kind of plays into the app.
Yeah, so the feline grimace scale is a validated study, and there are grimace scales for multiple species. And the feline grimace scale is one where you can look at the cat's facial features, so the ear positioning, eye positioning, whiskers, muzzle, the head in relation to the body, to determine if a cat is in pain. It's similar to humans. When we're in pain, we kind of crunch over, or our faces change. And so what we've done is we've applied machine learning to the feline grimace scale. So we've trained a machine learning model to be able to pick up on those facial cues in photographs of cats.
I find that stuff so awesome. How is this applied to the general cat owner?
Yeah, so when I first came on the project, and I was told to look at opportunities using a machine learning model based on the feline grimace scale that can tell you if a cat is happy or not, I thought, oh wow, I don't know, how this could be applied to helping cats. And then our machine learning developer had looked at hundreds of cat images and decided he needed a cat in his life. So he adopted Hobbs, and he had never had a pet before. And so Hobbs was a really good research assistant, great at posing for pictures. And one day, the machine learning developer noticed that Hobbs was presenting as not happy when previously all of the photos were happy. So he decided to take him to the vet just to get him checked out to see. And Hobbs was an adult rescue cat. And what the vet saw was that Hobbs had ear mites. Now, this is something that a new cat owner and a new pet owner wouldn't necessarily pick up right away. And even experienced cat owners, because cats hide their pain, you typically don't notice if there's an issue until the cat is visibly distressed. So in the case of ear mites, they might be scratching their ears vigorously. And sometimes I spoke to vets that they don't even get brought in until their ears are bleeding. So because cats hide their pain, it's hard for humans to determine if they need medical attention or not. And so from there, that was our like really exciting moment in the office. Like, this really works. And it's just so cool. And so we've had several other use cases that have come since. One of the most dramatic ones was Kismet the cat, who has FIV, which is an autoimmune disorder. And Kismet's owner has several cats and was testing out the app. And she noticed that he was presenting as not happy. So she thought, well, I'll take a picture later in the day, because a cat could be not happy because they're annoyed with you or because they are actually in pain or physical discomfort. So she was getting ready for bed, took a picture of Kismet, and he was purring and nuzzling her. So she thought for sure he's happy, because I thought purring meant happy too. And the app still said not happy. And because she had validation on her other cats that the app really worked, she just thought, I need to get him into the vet right away. And this was during a snowstorm, and her husband suggested that maybe she wait till the roads clear up. And she was like, no, I know there's something wrong. This is my kizzy. So she ended up taking him to the vet, and where he was found to be severely dehydrated. He needed intravenous fluids. His basophils were off. And she just thought, I didn't know. I thought he was purring and he was happy. And with something like dehydration, that could impact the organs, and especially with a cat with a disorder like FIV. So, kudos to her to being really proactive. But that was just an incredible moment too, where we learned how our app can help cat owners.
That's a really great story. I'm wondering, so are you suggesting that owners take like a daily photo of their cat, or just take a photo when they notice something may be off, or what's your suggestion for that?
Yeah, one of the things we learned early on was when we created our prototype and we put it out in the market, people would take a picture of their cat. If it said their cat was happy, they would say, oh, I knew my cat was happy, and they wouldn't come back. And so when we asked the people who came back to the app why they did, it was usually event driven. So a health issue. One cat owner, she was moving across the country, had her cat in the car for 3 days. She just wanted to make sure he was okay. And by the third day, she didn't need the app because he was clawing at the window and meowing. But it's really like, some people just absolutely love this app. And we've heard stories where one cat owner wanted to know if her cat liked her boyfriend or, liked her music. But we do see it being more useful in kind of that health aspect. So for chronic pain, there's a cat that has allergies that will have flare-ups. So she wants to be able to catch flare-ups early. So we do recommend taking multiple pictures, because the machine learning model is designed it's been trained for the full face and on that plane where you see the full face. So if you're standing above your cat and you've got an angle that's a little bit off, it could impact the results. So we do recommend, when you take images, to take a few. And then if you have, like I had mentioned earlier, a result of the cat not being happy, it could be because they're annoyed, or it could be an issue. So if there's continuously an issue, it would be good to get it checked out.
So I have the app, and I have been playing around with it. And so I was excited to use it first day, got in there, got all of my cat's pictures, happy. And I got a good baseline on that. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. I like it. Then I started to notice, so Peach and I are very in tune with one another. She generally knows when I'm feeling anxious or something. And the moment that she feels off, I'm like, you're not right. Something is with you. So I brought the app out and I looked and I got her picture and it said not happy. And so I tried the other two cats and it was Elliot was happy. Violet was not happy, but lately, frequently, she's kind of upset with the new dog. And then Peach was unhappy. So I tried it throughout the day and I kept getting the same kind of results of, happy, not happy, not happy. And so by later in the day, Peach had started sneezing. And I was like, see, I knew it. Something was off with Peach. And then as it progressed, I got not happy, not happy, not happy. And over the course of the next few days, each of them all started sneezing. And I was like, wow, it really did catch it. And they were continuously not happy when they were sneezing. And you could just tell that they were kind of like, the more you looked at them as they were sneezy, they would hunch kind of, and they were just kind of like, face. But I was really excited to see how the app caught it, even just minor sneezing or before they even started. And I was very thrilled to see that. So it was really exciting. On a side note, for the people, for our listeners, it does not pick up dogs.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder how specific this is. So I go to I don't know, she's pretty cat-like, my puppy, pointy ears and things. And I put it over her face and it's like, not a cat.
Yeah.
We get many requests of saying, can you make this for babies? Because I want to be able to be able to decipher why my baby is losing its mind on me. So it's funny. A lot of people, we get lots of different requests for different species for sure.
And definitely dogs. People ask about dogs. Why don't you make this for dogs? But there's a lot greater variance in their breed, from breed to breed. So, and having said that, I should say our app is 97% accurate on most adult breeds, but breeds where they have modified ears, like a Scottish Fold, or a modified muzzle, like a Persian, or black cats with long fur, the light, the camera just doesn't like that type of, isn't able to detect that type of cat. So that's where we don't have as much accuracy. And then also we're not trained on kittens, but yeah, people ask for dogs, and teenagers would be a good one.
I love that. Interestingly enough that you say black long-haired cats, because I have one of those, and I did have to kind of pose her in front of the window I figured it was the low lighting. So I was like, Violet, just plop yourself right here and then stay still. And so luckily, being a cat trainer, I just got her in a sit and grabbed a couple treats, and she was like, oh yeah, smile, pose for the camera. And it's like, unhappy. And I'm like, okay, well, I know, I'm holding a handful of your favorite food, and, you're doing something that you like to do, which is training, and you're still unhappy. And that happened with all three of them once they were starting to be sneezy. So I was like, yeah, yep, okay, time to start your immune boosting treatments and things like that.
Again, those are really the stories that we love, when we know that the app has kind of alerted a cat owner to, catching something early, so that they weren't suffering from allergies like for, multiple more days, which, that always really excites us.
Yeah. Would you mind going into a little more detail about the clinical applications of this, like for a vet office or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the tool is actually being used as a remote patient monitoring system. So, as an example, say a cat goes in for a dental procedure. I actually spoke to a vet just yesterday who said, this cat came in for, multiple thousands of dollars of surgery with a dental procedure. The cat ended up staying overnight to be monitored, and then they sent the cat home, I believe 2 days later, with the owner. And, and first of all, it's, quite the investment to do that surgery and those overnight stays. And then on top of that, the cat goes home with, of course, a majority chance of surviving, but there's a chance that he won't recover well. And she was saying, we called the owner every couple of days and she never picked up her phone. And I mean, we know, I can attest to this, the younger generations do not like picking up the phone. And so she was just like, we want that information. We want to know how they're recovering at home. We want to know that when a cat leaves our office, that they're doing okay a week later, 2 weeks later. And so the way they're using our tool is cat comes in for procedure. And then when the cat leaves the clinic, they prescribe the application to the owner for a period of time, say 7 days. And for those 7 days, the cat owner will take pictures of the cat and monitor its recovery with our app. And then on the vet side, they can actually see all of that data, all of those pictures, and whether the cat is trending upwards or downwards. And then it allows them to, one, cut down on the time that they're taking to make those phone calls that typically get unreturned. And then it allows them to provide this personalized level of care for the cat parent as well, right? They have peace of mind on their side to know that the cat is recovering at home okay. So we've also added in a number of health outcome questions. So, are they eating? Are they drinking? Are they interactive? That type of thing to give a better overall health picture.
We do have a dashboard for the vets to see the results of the cats. And so in addition to the cat owner being able to take the image and get the results and answer those health questions, the vet can see that information as well. And then when they get the alert too, they can decide if they want to call the cat owner or not and say, hey, is everything going okay? And one of the things we want to iterate is this doesn't make decisions at all. It doesn't say that there is something wrong. It's just another bit of information to help people make decisions.
So if we have any vets that are listening that may be interested in using this platform, how would they go about contacting you to do that?
Yeah, there's really two options. You can either go to Sylvester.ai and book a demo through our website, or you can email me directly at Sajna@Sylvester.ai. So that's SAJNA@Sylvester.ai. And we will get you all set up.
I know that the clinical application is still in the prototype right now, but have you heard any success stories coming out of that so far, or is it still in its infancy?
So we are kind of out of the prototype phase, I guess, kind of as of today. So we are onboarding clinics to the kind of full version of the app starting next week. We have, through our prototyping phase, had lots of different success stories. We had a vet send a cat home after a procedure with a certain type of medication, and the cat was continually getting negative results. And so the vet owner actually brought the cat back into the clinic just a few days later, and the vet discovered that the cat was having a really adverse reaction to the medication. So they actually changed from, I think, an antibiotic to just like an anti-inflammatory. And then just I think the next day the cat was feeling better again. So yeah, lots of really interesting stories coming out of the vet side. Even we chatted with a vet who works really closely with our police with animal abuse cases. And she was saying, this tool would be really helpful for, say they go into, a hoarding house situation where that person might have 40 cats that have been poorly cared for a long amount of time. Because the police are the police officers that they send to those scenes are not, necessarily trained on animals. They're not vets. They don't know how to choose which cat needs to come out of the room, come out of the house first. And so they're actually able to use the tool almost as a triage tool to see who's suffering the most and who needs to be, taken to the vet as soon as possible versus those that might need to go to the Humane Society or those that might be able to stay in the home for a few days.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And that brings up maybe another application. I don't know if any animal shelters have thought about using this, but maybe, shelters with a lot of cats, they could take photos of the cats each day or each morning and see how the cats are progressing that way. Is that something that you've thought about or explored?
Yeah, we have used it at a few shelters. So one of the shelters that we worked with was trying to decrease the amount of animal returns that they had. And they said that their returns had actually gotten pretty high during COVID because, you know, perhaps like new pet owners are going to adopt animals. And then, you know, maybe in a sense, biting off more than they could chew and not realizing the commitment it took. And, you know, that you need to acclimate a cat to an environment that might already have a dog in it. And so they've actually been using the tool quite a bit for new cat owners. And it's been, you know, quite educational. And they said that it really does help give them that insight into how the cat is feeling for especially those new cat parents.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump in with another use case. What's really exciting about any product is when people start using it in ways that you don't imagine or couldn't have imagined. So the police case was a really good example of that. Another is with the rise in use of cannabis products, and people are curious, you know, are these effective? So cat owners are testing more or less the efficacy of the cannabis products or some of these nutraceuticals, and they have a sense that the cat is doing better on it, but the app kind of helps with that validation, which has been pretty cool.
That is fascinating. I love hearing all of these stories and all of the ways that we can improve cat welfare and health, because there's a super high percentage of people who don't, you know, either don't bring their cats to the vet or report that their cat is stressed at the vet. And having those tools to say, you know, how is my cat feeling, and kind of getting ahead of things, I think is super, super awesome. Anything we can do to get cats seeing vets, getting in, you know, and getting the health care that they need. Are there any other ways that you've noticed that this helps the human-cat bond? Kind of one thing that I find interesting about this is even just having them, you know, play with the app even, or take pictures of their cats, are getting these people to, you know, look at their cats more and pay more attention to them. What other kind of applications do you see in that way?
Yeah, I had a cat owner tell me she was part of our testing, our pilot, and her and her boyfriend thought it was cute to put the covers over the cat and how the cat would scurry out and react. So they took a picture after, and the cat was not happy. And then they were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. So I'm sure the cat appreciates that.
We even had one guy who had his cat for quite some time, like I think about 15 years. And he was saying, in the past year and a half, my cat's just been getting old. Like it's kind of, you know, lost most of its personality. It's become kind of lethargic. It you know, wasn't the kind of playful cat that it used to be. And he started using the app, and it came back with, you know, negative results. And he took the cat to the vet for, I think, the first time in a decade. And it turned out that he had multiple teeth in his mouth that were rotting that needed to be extracted. And then he said a week after that surgery, the cat got its personality back. So we kind of know that that cat was living with pain for, you know, the better part of a year and a half, which was a pretty amazing story to us.
Yeah, and even with aging cats, there's a cat who was presenting as not happy, went to the vet, and the cat was 16 years old and wasn't on any pain medication, was put on a pain protocol, and then was happy, and then just was able to like climb again and play. And so, you know, it's giving life to those years, and people want to keep their cats in their lives longer because they're like family members. And this makes those later years a lot more comfortable. And then also another use case is using it for end of life decisions. So because the cats are in your life for so long, and for some people, you know, they had their cat from when they were a child and they grew up with their cat, you don't want to let your cat go too soon, but you also don't want them to suffer. So you can see my cat has good days and bad days, but now my cat has fewer good days, and now my cat doesn't have good days at all. Then you can have that peace of mind knowing that you're not letting go too soon.
We get a lot of feedback from vets that that's a really, really difficult conversation to have about, you know, communicating with a cat parent. Oh, well, I think it's time to let go. And vets say that that's a much harder conversation to have with cat parents than dog parents, because they typically see dog parents at regular intervals. People can be pretty good at bringing their dogs in every year, but with a cat, a lot of vets will say to us, they see cats twice in a lifetime, as a kitten and near the end of life. And so they don't have a chance to build up that trust and build up that relationship to have that really difficult conversation. So we've gotten a lot of good feedback about using it in that sense, so that, there's this very much, kind of data-driven objective tool that might be able to help you support your decision.
So I haven't seen the app or anything. Would you mind describing what it is that a user of the app sees after they take the photo? So are they seeing this is a good day or a bad day, or are they seeing what it is about the cat's face that makes it a good day or bad day?
Yeah, so we have a couple of products out there. So we have our prototype that's still out there. Android, Apple users can use it. And that's the one that's the happy or not. And you take a static image of your cat, and it'll show you the result of how confident the model is that the cat is happy or not happy. So if it says 56%, it doesn't mean your cat is 56% happy. It just means the model is only 56% confident that your cat is happy. So it's just super lightweight. We built it quickly just to see how people would use it. And then from that, we got feedback that people said, my cat doesn't always sit still, or sometimes the users themselves will learn that angles matter, lighting matters. So then what we have in the App Store with Tably is it's just for iOS, and it uses live view technology, which takes multiple pictures per millisecond. And what it's doing is it's gathering the high confidence images before producing a result. And then it'll show, we kind of played around with different verbiage, like happy or not happy, or content or discontent. So right now we have an image of a cat that's smiling and an image of a cat that's not smiling, just until we figure out sort of kind of the right way to convey it. What we're going to test next is a score. So kind of keeping that trend and having sort of a happiness score. And then we do have features that are coming down the pipeline. So with our vet app, we have, that one uses the static image, and we have where it gives you the score and it has the result. But the one in the iOS is just kind of that happy or not, the little icon. And one of the features that we are thinking about is maybe having an overlay of the heat map, so you can see where the machine model is getting their information. So wherever the heat map is the most red or vibrant in color, that's what had the greatest impact on the score. So it could show, is it reading it from the ears or is it reading it from the muzzle? So I have a feeling that people will really like that feature. So I'm excited once we get through kind of working through the workflow with the vet app and things like that, that we would get to implement some of those more fun features.
I think that would be really cool, especially it might give cat owners another kind of level of being able to read their cat's body language themselves as well. Like, okay, I can see that the app is telling me that consistently the ears are where this information is coming from. So I really need to be paying attention to my cat's ears all the time, kind of thing. Just another way to be able to kind of understand their cat and be able to react appropriately with or without the app. So I think that's really cool. I look forward to seeing how your app kind of progresses. And I'm curious, how long have you kind of been working on this to get to this point that you're at now?
Yeah, so I started on the project in June of 2020. And that's when we had the happy or not model. So before I came on, I believe it was a few months before that the model got developed and trained. And so we had our prototype, I think built a couple of weeks after I started. And then the iOS app was released in, I believe it was toward the middle or end of March. And then our vet app, as Sajna had mentioned, is ready Friday, but we'll be releasing it in certain clinics. We're doing a private beta pilot next week.
That's great. Congratulations on the launch. I know I talked to Sajna when it was almost gonna come out, and now it is out basically, right? So that's awesome.
We're getting some attention too. We just had an article come out in Wired UK magazine. That was super exciting.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
So I'd love if you wouldn't mind sharing to hear a little bit about each of your backgrounds with cats and kind of what drew you to working with this app to begin with. Do you have cats yourself, and have you had them your whole life?
Yeah, I've had cats. I had two, and they've passed away a while ago, but I have a dog now. I've always been an animal person. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet when I grew up, and I've kind of wanted to be all of these different things. My first 2 years in university, I changed my major 7 times. I took a class in each one. So what I love about product development is I get to kind of tap into all of the different things and kind of bring it all together. But I am part of the Mount Royal University Animal Care Committee. I was one of the initial members as a community representative. So I've been part of that, I believe, since 2016. And that's where, we just ensure that any research that's done is keeping in mind the ethics around research with animals. But we don't deal with vertebrates. So it's a little bit easier with that regard. And then, my dad's whole side of the family, they love cats. So I have an aunt who I believe she has 17 cats. But that number changes frequently. So I loved going to her house, and she always gave me cat books to read and things like that.
I would say for me, I am more like on the techie side. I am an engineer by education. And so I love seeing how artificial intelligence is really changing the world. And I think people, even today, they kind of view it as this, mysterious, robots are coming for our jobs kind of mentality. But, the reality is, if you have a smartphone, you're interacting with artificial intelligence like multiple times a day, right? You're using Face ID to unlock your phone. You're using predictive text to respond to your friends. You're, using an algorithm-based Instagram feed. So I think that artificial intelligence is really changing our lives. And the special thing about our project is that we can leverage the technology to make, really positive impacts on animal welfare.
That's great. I think that there's so much that will be done, in the next 5 to 10 years that we haven't even thought of yet in the realm of technology and animal welfare. So I think this is really interesting and really appreciate you sharing with us. Well, is there any other thoughts you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think most things got covered. What's really exciting about this is the future of this technology. So what's nice about machine learning is it's constantly learning and improving. So we don't know what the machine will pick up on with the patterns. So what's interesting about having that piece where we're working with veterinarians is if we're able to connect to the health data, maybe we could detect, diabetes early, or, who knows what is presented in cats' faces and maybe in their eyes, maybe, some eye healthcare issues. So we're really excited about the future of this and what's to come.
Thank you so much for coming on. And thank you, Sajna, for reaching out to me, because without that, I would have never known about this. And I am super excited about this project from both of you guys. I love that you were both able to come today and talk about all of the different ways that this wonderful app can be applied.
Yeah, thank you, Tori and Kristen. Thanks for having us. And for people who want to learn more, you can sign up on our website, Sylvester.ai. We send out updates. You can also download the app Tably, keeping tabs on your cat. So TABLY at the Apple App Store. And also speak to your vet if you, want to participate in a pilot.
Would you mind sharing where we can find you on social media as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we do have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram and Twitter. We also have a Discord channel, which is not necessarily social media, but Discord is, if you're familiar with Slack, it's similar to that. So our Discord server is where our users of our app can come together and talk about how they're using the app. So we have different channels for like end of life decision or post-procedure monitoring. There's also the fun channels, and people love sharing photos and stories about their cats. So that's our way of doing customer service. So instead of going through an FAQ or search or email and messaging back and forth, this is a way for the community to kind of help each other with any tech issues, but we also have it monitored. So we just thought it's just another way of kind of bringing a connection to people and to our users.
And you can find the Discord link on our website, which is Sylvester.ai.
This episode was brought to you by Mauai's Cat Behavior and Space Cat Academy. Visit us online at mauais.com and spacecatacademy.com.